live, with all your news in one place. This is ABC 24 News. Reporting tonight is Marcus Harun. Colleen Joyce is our top meteorologist. And McRoberts is the head of our sports department. ABC 24 News at 8 p.m. starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcus Harun, and thank you for watching ABC 24 News. We start tonight with our top story. More than 100 new laws are going into effect today in Connecticut. They range from driving to partying. The new laws took effect at midnight on October 1st. Wesley Iskra is standing by with more on this story. Wesley?
Thanks, Marcus. There are a lot of laws that went into effect this month. The state is cracking down on underage drinkers and their parents. Any adult who provides alcohol to an underage party can be fined or even put up to prison for up to 1 year. Even if the parent doesn't provide the alcohol, they can still be fined if they just know that the alcohol is being served to underage kids at the party. Another law is anyone under 21 who is drinking in a public place can be fined up to $500. And there's a new addition to a law about street racing that makes it illegal for anyone to own a car just for the purpose of street racing, or for anyone to even act as a starter, timekeeper, judge, or even spectators at an illegal street racing event. Starting this month, you don't have to be driving to get arrested for drunk driving. One of the new laws that took effect at midnight involves all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles. If you're drunk while operating any of these machines, in Connecticut, you can now get a DUI. Also starting today, grandparents must be notified within 15 days if a child is taken away from their parents by the Department of Children and Families. All of these laws take effect today. This is Wesley Iskra from the Hartford Newsroom, ABC 24 News. Back to you, Marcus.
Thanks, Wesley. A tractor-trailer rolled over and burst into flames on I-91 in Hartford Friday. This closed down the highway for hours and created a traffic nightmare in the capital city. The crash reportedly happened shortly after 10 a.m. on I-91 south near the airport exit and involved a tractor-trailer and at least one vehicle. Crews spent the day sanding down the roadway and making it ready to reopen. The driver of the truck was slightly hurt, but did not need medical attention. In more traffic news, emergency repair work was underway in the southbound lanes of the Pearl Harbor Memorial Bridge on Friday. 2 lanes of the highway were closed between exits 51 and 48, according to state police. There is a pothole in the highway which disabled 2 vehicles. Traffic is backed up well into East Haven and Branford. The DOT estimated it would take 7 to 8 hours to complete its work. The Israeli army abandoned its positions in Lebanon early Sunday and finally withdrew from the last of its troops from its neighbor Lebanon. It finally closed its month-long war against Hezbollah. Witnesses say that the Israelis began moving tanks and armed carriers out of the border in southern Lebanon after midnight. Israeli military officials said that the last soldiers were moved out ahead of Yom Kippur, the holiest holiday in the Jewish calendar. This month was the 5th anniversary of 9/11. We have team coverage today all around the world with news happening to commemorate 9/11. We start today with Bradley McRoberts. He's outside our ABC 24 Washington, D.C. newsroom. Brad.
Hello everyone, I'm Brad McRoberts here in the ABC 24 Washington, D.C. newsroom, where minutes ago in the Oval Office, President Bush gave his speech. 5 years after the worst attack on U.S. soil, President Bush said Monday night the war against terrorism is the calling of our generation, and urged Americans to put aside differences and fight to victory.
America did not ask for this war, and every American wishes it were over. So do I. But the war's not over, and it will not be over until either we or the extremists emerge victorious. If we do not defeat these enemies now, we will leave our children to face a Middle East overrun by terrorist states and radical dictators armed with nuclear weapons. We are in a war that will set the course for this new century and determine the destiny of millions across the world.
Bush also defended the war in Iraq, though he acknowledged that Saddam Hussein was not responsible for the 9/11 attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. His address came at the end of the day in which he visited New York, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon to honor victims of the attacks that rocked his presidency and thrust the United States into a costly and unfinished war against terror.
Osama bin Laden and other terrorists are still in hiding. Our message to them is clear. No matter how long it takes, America will find you, and we will bring you to justice.
As for Iraq, he said, Saddam's regime, which, while lacking weapons of mass destruction, was a threat that posed a risk the world could not afford to take. At least 2,670 U.S. servicemen and women have died in Iraq, almost the amount that which died in 9/11. But Bush calls the Central Front of Iraq the war on terror. Earlier, Bush visited a New York fire station, the field in Pennsylvania where one of the planes crashed, and the Pentagon to place wreaths and console the relatives of attack victims.
We will not leave until this work is done. Whatever mistakes have been made in Iraq, the worst mistake would be to think that if we pulled out, the terrorists would leave us alone. They will not leave us alone. They will follow us. The safety of America depends on the outcome of the battle in the streets of Baghdad.
Today was a day of remembrance across the country and the world. Now, here are Bush's closing remarks.
The attacks were meant to bring us to our knees, and they did, but not in the way the terrorists intended. Americans united in prayer, came to the aid of neighbors in need, and resolved that our enemies would not have the last word. The spirit of our people is the source of America's strength, and we go forward with trust in that spirit, confidence in our purpose, and faith in a loving God who made us to be free. Thank you, and may God bless you.
I'm Brad McRoberts, reporting from ABC 24 News from Washington, D.C. in memorial of 9/11.